Hello there, music lovers. Thank you so much for stopping by this channel and checking things out. Today I'm going to be doing a video about 5 bands that I think should really give it up. I mean, baby, give it up. I'm talking about call it quits. Now, this idea came from a subscriber, sent me a message, and she says, I would love for you to do a bit, in your opinion, of all the aging bands that need to, as sad as it is to say, call it quits. They are just making fools out of themselves and ruining the images and memories that we have of them. Now, I don't have your name, but thank you very, very much for sending this in. Thanks for checking this channel out. And yeah, I've been kind of thinking about this. Some of the videos that I've been doing lately kind of have been pointing in this direction. Some bands that I think need to just quit, need to give it up, retire, whatever you want to call it. And I want to make it clear here, I'm not talking about bands that just because I don't like them, I think they should call it quits. I mean, you know, like a band like Nickelback, all right? I can't stand those guys, but they shouldn't quit. They should keep doing whatever they're doing. And Poison, I don't like Poison, never have. Couldn't give a shit about Poison. Don't think they should quit, all right? These are bands that I think have just kind of run out of gas. You know, they just don't sound as good as they used to, and there really is no point in going on. And number 1 on my list is going to be The Who. Okay, now The Who are a great legendary rock band from the 60s. You know, at one point they lost their drummer, Keith Moon, monster drummer. They never did get back on track once they lost Moon. I mean, and I can't believe that they brought Kenny Jones in to replace Moon. I mean, talk about such a difference in style. Luckily they got Zach Starkey to play with them live, and so at least they got a drummer that can really perform. So they, you know, that's all right. But what's happened is that The Who lost their longtime bass player, John Entwistle. It's been about almost, I don't know, it's been about what, 16 years now or so, 17 years, almost 20 years that they've been without the Ox. And when we lost Entwistle, that's when I thought The Who ended. Like, you know, I was very much drawn to how he played. He was a monster bass player. You ask anybody like Geddy Lee and Chris Squire, or any guy that's worth anything that's a bass player, will tell you that Entwistle was a major, major influence. And so when they lost him, they lost a whole element of that band. And I thought, you know, guys, just give it up. I thought the last great performance that they did was the concert for New York, the show that they did for the 9/11 event, and you know, it was very emotional. The Who, just, they were supercharged, awesome performance. The audience was singing, they were crying, holding pictures of their fallen loved ones. An amazing performance. I'll put a link to it down below if I can find it. As a matter of fact, any of the videos that I make, I try to put some goodies for you downstairs, all right? Okay, number 2 on my list is going to be the Beach Boys. I think they should change their name to the Beached Boys. These guys have been over and done for a long, long time. I think they're down to just one original guy, Mike Love, and they're playing state fairs, and they'll play anywhere. They're probably playing in this parking lot in about 15 minutes, and so I might want to wrap this up. The Beach Boys are just, you know, how can I tell you? They're pathetic, really, really pathetic. Without Brian Wilson, you just don't have much of a band there, and I think that it's just basically a money pit, and so no love for them now. Number 3 on my list of bands that should probably call it quits is AC/DC. I know it's going to shock a lot of people. What are you talking about? They're sounding good now. Axl Rose is singing and everything. You know what? It's just such a far cry from what they used to be. You know, first they lose the drummer, and then they lose Malcolm, and then they lose Cliff. He decides to retire, and now you got Brian Johnson's out of the band. It's like there's nobody left. It's like, Angus, go the hell home, form another band, do something else. But this AC/DC thing, it's no longer the band that we used to love. You know, Axl Rose, he's got a gravelly voice. He kind of fits in with this thing, but I don't know. I'm not too big of an Axl Rose fan to begin with. I mean, I don't know. I'm just getting tired of these guys. Call it a day, all right? All right, number 4 is going to be Queen. I know that probably just melted the minds of a lot of people out there, and I hate to say it, I'm a huge Queen fan. Just did a video. I've done a couple of videos. I'll put links up for those so you can check them out. You know, Queen's one of my all-time favorite bands. I'm a Freddie fan. I love Freddie. I can't see Queen without Freddie. I don't want to see him with anybody else. He cannot be replaced. And it's shocking to me how many Adam Lambert fans there are out there, because my videos about Queen get a lot of thumbs down, which means there's a lot of Lambert fans. And, you know, I think Lambert's cool in his own little world, you know, in his solo stuff. But in terms of Queen, doesn't hold a candle to Freddie. And no Freddie, no care. Don't care. Don't want to see it. So I think Queen should hang it up. Number 5 on my list of bands that should call it quits is, of course, come on, the hottest band in the land, Kiss. That's right, I think Kiss have finally reached the end of the road, and maybe it is for them. They did trademark that name. Hasn't been talked about publicly yet, really. You know, Gene was asked about it. He said, I don't know where that came from. Turns out Paul Stanley is the one that trademarked the end of the road. Just so happens that they've got their biggest tour ever coming up in January. This is a 3-year tour. They haven't said that it's a goodbye tour, but you got to think it is. I mean, when it ends, they'll be in their early 70s. You know, where do you go from there? Where do you go from playing your biggest tour ever and you're 72 years old? I mean, come on. The band is over. They just haven't said it yet. Paul Stanley can barely sing. His voice is shot. Gene Simmons just looks, you know, like the makeup barely covers his face anymore. You know, I'm kind of looking forward to the next stage, when they hire 4 guys to put on the makeup and they put on a kick-ass Kiss show. It's probably going to look a lot more youthful. It's going to have the fire breathing and the blood spitting, and you'll go to Vegas on your vacation and you'll see them perform and they'll blow your ass out. And I'd be much more interested in to see that than to go see Paul Stanley at the end of his rope. Just do not care. So those are my 5 bands that I think should call it quits. All right, The Who, the Beach Boys, AC/DC is number 3, Queen number 4, Kiss number 5. What is your list? What 5 bands or what bands do you think should call it a day? Should call it quits? Should say, look, our best days are behind us. We're not sounding good. Let's just end it all. Okay, give this video a thumbs up if you like it. If you can think of any videos that you'd like me to do, send me an email, send me a message. You can send it to ant at rushtrader.com. You can go to my website, click on the contact link, and you'll see my email there too. So anyway, give it one of these, hit the subscribe button, and I will talk to you later.